They never met. No hand ever reached out to shake another, no eyes ever looked into each other across the same room, and neither ever heard the other's voice in the open air. And yet, there was something with no name in any dictionary, but the heart knows it well. It started with words, short sentences at first, then they grew longer. Then even the silence between them began to mean something. He would write to her in the middle of the night, when sleep wouldn't come, when he had thoughts and nowhere to put them, and he would find her there. She would open his messages before anything else, before coffee, before the window, before her whole day, because his words were her morning. They lived in two cities that had never heard of each other. Between them, an ocean, hours of time difference, and two entire lives that only crossed in this one small space, a screen, its light the only thing glowing in the dark. But the distance was never felt. When they talked, there was no ocean, no borders, no thousands of kilometers. Only two voices, finding in each other what they had never found in anyone around them. He knew her details without ever seeing her. He knew how she thought when she suddenly went quiet. He knew when she was sad from the way she chose her words. He knew she was genuinely laughing when she wrote a very short sentence, because real laughter needs no explanation. And she knew things about him that he didn't know about himself. She would tell him sometimes, "You say this, but you mean that," and he would go quiet, because she was always right. On many nights, he would look out of his window at the sky and wonder, is she looking at the same moon right now? And in her distant city, she was looking too. And neither of them knew the other was doing the same thing. They spoke one day about meeting. It wasn't a promise, it wasn't a clear plan, it was just a dream they said out loud, because some dreams need to be spoken even if they never come true. She said to him, "If we ever meet, I won't know what to say." He said to her, "We won't need to say anything." But the meeting never came, not because they didn't want it, but because life has its own calculations, wrong timing, circumstances that didn't help, and a distance that was sometimes too great to be crossed by words alone. And slowly, the way the words had begun, they started to fade. Not because the feelings died, but because some stories don't know how to continue when reality becomes heavier than the dream. He would write and she would take longer to reply. She would write and he would take longer to reply. And in those small gaps, each of them knew that something was changing. In their last message, there was no formal goodbye, no final sentence worthy of everything that had been. Just an ordinary message, an ordinary reply, and a silence that followed and never ended. But even today, when he sees the name of her city somewhere, he pauses for a moment. And she, when she hears a song he once sent her, smiles without knowing why. Because some people leave a mark on you without ever touching you. They reach into your depths through words alone and stay there, in a quiet corner of your soul, forever. And this kind of love needs no meeting to be real. It only needs to be felt. It only needs to be remembered. And it only needs to remain.